Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected brothers and sisters, welcome to our weekly class on explanation of Al-Muqaddimah Al-Ajurrimiyyah. And the explanation that we are going through, it is Al-Tuhfah Al-Sanniyyah by Sheikh Muhammad Muhyiddin Abdul Hamid rahimahullahu ta'ala. So welcome to our class. Yeah, the times have changed the UK. So therefore, here is 9 p.m. now in Saudi, 9 p.m. So inshallah, we're going to stick to this time now of 9 p.m. Saudi time, inshallah. Now, so today we are going to start a new topic, but I need about 10 minutes still on Jawazim, and then after that we'll start the new topic, inshallah. So, two things. First thing is that a brother messaged me and he said that we spoke about the Jawazim, but we forgot to give an example of one of the Jawazim that the Sharih, Sheikh Muhammad Muhyiddin, who explained Ājurrumiyyah here, he mentioned it. But then he himself did not give an example of that. He sufficed with giving an example of Aynama. Remember, we have Ayna and we have Anna. Ayna and Anna. So he mentioned these two. But then he didn't give an example of Anna. Okay, so if I pull up the book, it'll become clearer, inshallah. A second. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you can see the book. So just to go back here, here. وأما النوع الثاني وهو المتفق على أنه اسم فتسعة أسماء وهي من وما وأي ومتى وأيان وأين وأن وحيثما وكيفما. نعم. Okay, so look at these two. And we mentioned about them before that of course both of them are ismu shart and both of them are mabni and both of them are fi mahalli nasbin dharfu makan. They're talking about makan. Okay, but then taking that into consideration, if you look further down, so this is aina and anna, yes. Then here he gives an example of aynama. Aynama is the same as aina, but ma, as we said is za'ida for tawqid. Remember last week we said ma, yani aynama and aina and anna. These three are ismu shart. All of them are mabni fi mahalli nasbin dharfu makan, because they are talking about makan. So he gave an example of aynama and he sufficed with that, which is fine. Because aynama and aina is the same thing, but aynama is aina with ma za'ida lit tawqid. But the brother said, where's the example of anna? Okay, I mean, it's not necessary he gives an example of everything, because once you understand that aina and anna are the same thing, really, now, and he's given you example of aynama, which is aina, then it's quite self-explanatory, yes. But it's a good point. It's a good point. So I thought I'll give an example just to make it clearer, yeah. So we can give an example here. It's not a big deal, yes. So for example, nice simple example, we can say anna tajlis ajlis. Wherever you sit, I'm going to sit. Yes. As I said, it's the same meaning as aina. So anna tajlis ajlis. Wherever you sit, I sit. So anna would be what? Ismu shartin mabniyun ala sukun fi mahalli nasbin dharfu makan. يجزم فعلين. يجزم فعلين. تجلس, as you know, would be فعل شرط. فعل شرط. Sorry. Yes, فعل شرط. But the full i'rab, as you know, would be فعل مضارع. Yes, مجزوم بأن على أنه فعل شرط. وعلامة جزمه السكون. وفاعله ضمير مستتر وجوبا تقديره أنت. And this أجلس, this is the jawab. This is the jawab al-shart. This is the fi'l al-shart. And this is the ism al-shart. So ajlis would be fi'l mudari'un majzumun bi anna ala annahu jawab al-shart. وعلامة جزمه السكون. وفاعله ضمير مستتر وجوبا تقديره أنا. أجلس أنا. Okay, so that's just an example of anna tajlis ajlis. Okay, so hopefully that is clear. So it's good we mentioned an example. At least we've covered it now. Okay. No. So that's the first point I wanted to bring to your attention. Now the second thing is this. So we were doing this last week. Yes, we went into the last point we were talking about. I just want to repeat this point, okay, very quickly. It will take about 5 minutes, inshallah. So, وأما النوع الرابع وهو ما اختلف في أنه اسم أو حرف والأصح أنه اسم فذلك كلمة واحدة وهي مهما. نوع الرابع, the final type from the second category. Remember, the jawazim are two broad categories, and the second category is divided further into 4 types, remember? So now we look at the fourth and the final type from the second category of jawazim. The second category jawazim are alladhi yajzimu fi'alayn. So this fourth category, وهو مختلف في أنه اسم. This is a difference of opinion whether this type of jaz, this type of jawazim, is it ism or harf? What is it? Well, asahu annahu ism. And what is correct is that it is an ism. فَذَلِكَ كَلِمَةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ. And that's only one word anyway. What is it? Mahma. And if you remember right at the beginning of the jawazim, we mentioned that mahma has the same i'rab as man and ma. Man and ma are from the second type. Mahma is from the fourth type of jawazim, but their i'rab is the same. What is it? I'rab of these 3 words, man and ma and mahma, can be one of 2 things. Either these 3 are, of course, they're all mabni. Either they are going to be fi mahalli rafin mubtada, or they are going to be fi mahalli nasbin maf'ulun bihi muqaddam. And this all depends on the fi'l that comes after these 3 words. And we said that if the fi'l after these 3 words is muta'addi and its maf'ul is mentioned with it, or the fi'l after these 3 words, it is fi'lun lazim, then man wa ma wa mahma will be fi mahalli rafin mubtada. However, if after these 3 words a fi'l muta'addi is mentioned but the maf'ul of it is not mentioned with it, then man wa ma wa mahma will be fi mahalli nasbin maf'ulun bihi muqaddam. It will be the maf'ul of that fi'l. The maf'ul of that fi'l muta'addi whose maf'ul is not mentioned with it. Okay, so that's the i'rab of mahma. So as you can see here, mahma is, of course, mabni ala sukun. Mahma fi mahalli rafin mubtada or fi mahalli nasbin maf'ulun bihi muqaddam. Then we looked at this example. ومثال قوله تعالى مهما تأتينا به من آية تسحرنا بها فما نحن لك بمؤمنين. This is what the followers of Fir'aun said to Musa alayhi salam. They said, whatever ayah, whatever sign, whatever miracle you bring to us, litasharana biha, in order to bewitch us and in order to deceive us and so on and so forth, فَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. We will never believe in you. We will never believe you. Yes, we will never believe you. So now here, as you can see, we have 3 things like we always do. First, we have mahma, which is the ismu shart. Then we have the fi'lu shart, and then we have the jawab shart. And here the jawab shart is a jumla ismiya. Yes, and we spoke about that last time. Okay, I'm not going to do a detailed i'rab of this ayah. Okay, but here مهما تأتينا به من آية لتسحرنا بها فما نحن لك بمؤمنين. Now, so if we just go here, مهما تأتينا به من آية مهما تأتينا به لتسحرنا بها فما نحن لك بمؤمنين. So first of all, mahma. Who remembers the, so here now mahma is ismu shartin mabni ala sukuni. What is it? Fi mahal what? Is it fi mahalli rafin mubtada or is it fi mahalli nasbin maf'ulun bihi muqaddam? What do you think? Naam, ahsantum. Yes, it's fi mahalli raf'in mubtada. It's fi mahalli raf'in mubtada. Fi mahalli raf'in mubtada. Okay. Why? Because the fi'l which is after it, ta'ati, this is fi'lun lazim. Yeah, so you are asking about the different types of fi'l. We're going to look at that later on anyway. But the different types of fi'l, you have fi'l muta'addi and fi'l lazim. Fi'l muta'addi, fi'l lazim. And we spoke about this in detail a couple of lessons ago. In a lot of detail. Yes, and we gave many examples. So you have fi'l muta'addi and fi'l lazim. Fi'l muta'addi, that which takes a maf'ul. You take one maf'ul or two maf'uls or three maf'uls. And lazim, it doesn't take a maf'ul. For example, if I say daraba zaydun amran, daraba is fi'l muta'addi. Yes, it has a maf'ul. There has to be something upon which you see the effect of this fi'l. Daraba zaydun amran. Amr is a maf'ul bih. He's the one that was hit. Fi'l lazim, for example, ja'a zaydun. Ja'a zaydun. Or ata zaydun. Or jalasa ala al-kursi. Fi'l lazim. Qama Muhammadun. Fi'l lazim. So what I'm trying to say is that for mahma and for man and ma and mahma, these three can either be in fi mahalli raf mubtada or they can be fi mahalli nasbin maf'ulun bihi muqaddam. They are going to be in fi'l, they are going to be fi mahalli raf mubtada if the fi'l after them is fi'l muta'addi whose maf'ulun bihi is mentioned with it. Now, or if it is fi'l lazim, then man wa ma wa mahma will be fi mahalli raf'in mubtada. But if after man wa ma wa mahma, after these three, the fi'l that is mentioned is muta'addi, but its maf'ulun bihi is not mentioned with it. It's not mentioned after it. Then man wa ma wa mahma is fi mahalli nasbin maf'ulun bihi muqaddam, for that fi'l that's going to come after. Okay. The point being here mahma is ismu shartin mabni sugu fi mahalli mubtada because the fi'l after is lazim ta'ti. Okay. Now I just want to know the i'rab of ta'ti. What's the i'rab of ta'ti? ta'ti fi'lun mudari'un. Yes. fi'lun mudari'un. Of course it is majzumun bi mahma. Majzumun bi mahma. على أنه فعل شرط. What is the علامة جزم here? وعلامة جزمه ماذا؟ نعم بارك الله فيك. حذف الياء. أحسنت. نعم أحسنتم. Yes, excellent. حذف الياء. حذف الياء وعلامة جزمه حذف الياء. As you know, the asl of this is ta'ti. You say the fi'l madi is fi'l mudari is ta'ti. When you make a majzoom, حذف الياء, you end up with this kasra, which is an indicator that ya has been omitted or deleted. Yes. So we say تأتي فعل مضارع مجزوم بمحمى على أنه فعل شرط وعلامة جزمه حذف الياء وفاعله ضمير مستتر وجوبا تقديره أنت. And these are the jar majroors. This is متعلق بتأتي. This is متعلق بمحذوف حال. Anyway, we're not going to bother with that at the moment. Here, فما نحن لك بمؤمنين. This is the جواب الشرط. And it's a جملة اسمية. This is the جواب الشرط. Yes. فما نحن لك بمؤمنين. فما نحن بمؤمنين. So remember we said فا داخلة. الفاء داخلة في جواب الشرط مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب ولا عمل. And ما is حرف نفي مبني على السكون لا محل له من الإعراب ولا عمل. نحن ضمير منفصل مبني على الضم في محل رفع مبتدأ. Yes. And then we have لك الجار والمجرور متعلق بمؤمنين. متعلق بمؤمنين. Okay. Yes, so we've done the fa, we've done the ma, we've done nahnu. Nahnu is the mubtada. Laka harful jar majur muta'alliq bi mu'minin. So where is the khabar? This is the khabar. The asl of this jumla, the asl would be فَمَا نَحْنُ مُؤْمِنُونَ لَكَ. Yes, or you can say, actually, you can say فَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ. Okay, that's the asl then, yeah. فَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ مُؤْمِنُونَ. We are not going to believe in you. So نحن is the mubtada. مؤمنون is the khabar. So we have mubtada and khabar, jumla ismiya. And this is why at the i'rab we say وَجُمْلَةُ فَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ في محل جزم جواب الشرط. نعم. وجملة فما نحن بمؤمنين في محل جزم جواب الشرط. And remember, I also mentioned that this ba harf al-jar, it is zaid. Zaid. So harf al-jar, and I've mentioned this before, there's three types of harf al-jar. One is harfu jarrin asliyun. That's the normal harf al-jar. And that's the one, that's the widespread one. That's the one that's used most in the Arabic language. And that is the one that has meaning. And that is the one that has the muta'allaq. Then on the other end, you have harfu jarrin zaidun, extra. It has no muta'allaq and it has no meaning. And there are three of them. There is the ba, al-kaf, and min. Al-ba, wal-kaf, wa min. Now, why are they called a zaid? Because they are placed in the jumla for tawqeed, for emphasis, but they don't add any meaning. Okay, so they have no meaning and no muta'allaq. Yeah, and this is why you can see here. Look at the example I've given you. فَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ فَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ مُؤْمِنُونَ. Has it changed the meaning? Has the meaning changed? No. They both mean the same thing. We're not going to ever believe in you. Or we're not ever going to believe you. But فَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ, this is tawqeed. But if you remove it, the meaning doesn't change. So no meaning, no muta'allaq. Then in the middle, you have harfu jarrin shabihun bi zaid. Harfu jarrin shabihun bi zaid, the one that resembles zaid. It resembles harfu jar zaid. So that's in the middle. From one angle, it resembles harfu jar asli, and one angle it resembles harfu jar zaid. How does it resemble harfu jar asli? It has a meaning. It has a meaning just like harfu jar asli has a meaning. نعم. And نعم. And the second way, it resembles, yeah, so it resembles it because it has a meaning. But from the other angle, it resembles harf jar zaid because it has no muta'allaq. So harf jarin shabihun bi zaid lahu ma'na ولكن ليس له متعلق. وحرف جر أصلي has معنى متعلق. حرف جر شبيه بزائد has معنى no متعلق. And حرف جر زائد has no معنى no متعلق. Anyway, that's the details can be delayed for this, but that's a quick summary of that. Okay. And some of these things, you can also do your own research, look into it, look at examples. I mean, harf jar asli, don't worry about that. That's the normal harf jar that you find. Yes. And remember, long time ago, we did the meanings of each and every one of these harf jars in detail. And we looked at many examples and we did i'rab. Yes. Very good. Yep. So the sister is saying, what will be the i'rab then of bi mu'mineen? Yep, that's the i'rab like you mentioned. So the i'rab of mu'mineen, we would say basically if it's harf jar zaid, here for man al-mu'mineen, you would say this is ismun majrurun بالباء لفظا. Yes. مرفوع محلا على أنه خبر. So the i'rab of mu'mineen, of course, is majroor. We can see that lafdan, yani written and speaking is there in front of us. Yes, it's mu'mineen. It's not mu'minun. It's mu'mineen. So it's clearly it is majroor. Ismun majroor bil ba'i lafdan, yani the lafd of it. It is majroor. But it is marfu'un mahallan. But it is in the place of. Its mahal is marfu. It's in the place of raf'. Why? Because it is the khabar of the jumla. And this is why if you were to remove the ba, this is what you would get. فَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ مُؤْمِنُونَ. So mu'minun would be khabar and it's marfu here. It's marfu with the waw. Jam mudhakkar salim. Naam. That would be the i'rab, yes. Ismun majrurun bil ba'i lafdhan marfu'un mahallan ala annahu khabar. And here you don't say jar majroor muta'alliq because there is no muta'allaq. There's no muta'allaq because it's zaid. Naam. Okay. So is that inshallah clear? Okay, so khalas, let's move on now, inshallah, to the new chapter. Where we are now going to talk about this. Okay, Bismillah. So, what's it saying? That's the new topic, yes? عدد المرفوعات وأمثلتها. مرفوعات وأمثلتها. Yani, basically mentioning the marfu'at, mentioning those things which are marfu' and giving examples. So qala, here, this is the author Ibn Ājurrum rahimahullah. He says, Babu marfu'atil asma'i. This is the chapter of the asma which are marfu'. Yani, what he's trying to say here, in speech, in the kalam, or in a jumla, when is an ism considered to be marfu'? When is an ism considered to be marfu'? So now he's going to tell you that an ism, if it falls into one of these 7 places in speech or in jumla, if an ism falls into one of these 7 places, then this ism is not going to be mansoob. This ism is not going to be majroor. And of course, majzoom doesn't count here because ism cannot be majzoom. That's specific for a fi'l. So ism, if it falls into one of these 7 places, it's not going to be mansoob, it's not going to be majroor, but it's going to be marfu'. That's what this is about. Okay? Hopefully that is clear. So he says, Al-marfu'atu sab'atun. They are 7 in number. What are they? وهي الفاعل. Al-fa'il. So if an ism falls in a jumla into the place of a fa'il, then this ism is going to be marfu'. وَالْمَفْعُولُ الَّذِي لَمْ يُسَمَّ فَاعِلُهُ. Also, what's another marfu'? Also from the marfu'at. The second one, it is a maf'ul whose fa'il lam yusamma is not mentioned. Anybody know what's another name for this? A simpler name. Simpler name. A maf'ul whose fa'il is not mentioned. What's another name for this? Now, okay, Elias. Yep, you should be able to speak now.
فعل مبني للمجهول.
Yep. Good. Ahsan. And also what they're saying in the chat, very good. Na'ibul fa'il, yes. It's na'ibul fa'il. Fi'l mabni al-majhul. Naam. Yep, that's it exactly. Why? Look here, I'll give you an example to make this clearer. Yes, examples make things clearer. Inshallah, bi-idhnillah, jalla wa ala. Yes. Let's take this example. Nice simple sentence. حفظ محمد الدرس. Yani Muhammad memorized the dars. Nice, simple, perfect. Yes, only if Arabic was as simple as this. Nice, simple, perfect jumla. Fi'l, madi, fa'il, and maf'ulun bihi. Now, what can we do? We can remove this, which is the fa'il. So what would happen? Two things would happen. First, the sigha of this would change, the form, the sigha of it change. So what you would say, hufidha. Then the maf'ul will take the place of the fa'il. So it would no longer be mansub. Because it's taken the place of a fa'il, it will also be marfu'. So we say hufidha ad-darsu. Naam. Hufidha ad-darsu. Naam. So ad-darsu, what is it then? You can call it naib al-fa'il. Yani it's taken the place of the fa'il. Yes, clearly. Or as the author says here, this is also al-maf'ul alladhi lam yusamma fa'iluhu. It's also a maf'ul. Remember, dars was initially what? It is a maf'ul. Yes or no? Yes. It's a maf'ul which, whose fa'il is not mentioned. Yes, because the fa'il is khalas. This is a maf'ul. Here in the first sentence, there's a maf'ul. Is the fa'il of this maf'ul mentioned? Of course. There's Muhammad. This is the fa'il of this maf'ul is mentioned. But here now, this is a maf'ul whose fa'il is not mentioned because Muhammad has been deleted. You can say naib al-fa'il, maf'ul ladhi lam yusamma fa'il, it's the same thing. I'm just trying to show you why the author has named it as such. And also a very interesting point actually I need to mention here. It's a benefit last week Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr Hafidahullah gave us in his tafsir lesson. And this is why you have to be very careful. When you study Arabic, study it with a person who has a sound aqidah. Very important that, yes. So anyway, the point is, now, if I say hufida darsu, naturally we would say this is fi'lun madin mabniun lil majhul. Yes or no? Yes, that's what we normally say. And we say dars is naib al-fa'il. But you have to be very, very careful. When it comes to Quran and the Sunnah, don't use these words. Because you're talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his Prophet sallallahu. And Allah is not majhul, a'udhu billah. And needs the Prophet sallallahu. So you have to have adab with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, adab with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, adab with the Anbiya and the Sahaba. So we don't use these kind of words when it comes to the Quran. So when you do, and if you see that in the Quran and they do it, it's not right. Okay, so instead what you can say is you can say fi'l al-madi alladhi lam yusamma fa'iluhu. Yes, fi'l al-madi alladhi lam yusamma fa'iluhu. Yani this fi'l al-madi whose fa'il is not mentioned. But in the Quran and Sunnah, don't say fi'l al-madi mabni al-majhul. Majhul. What did majhul means? The fa'il is majhul. That's what it means. It's a fi'l al-madi mabni al-majhul. Mabni here doesn't mean, you know, normally you say mabni al-sukun, mabni al-fath, mabni al-kasr, mabni al-dam. That's a different mabni. Here mabni means the structure of this fi'l. Yani the structure mabni, this fi'l is mabni, is built to represent that the fa'il is majhul. Yani the form is built in this way, like hufida, not hafida. So you can't say that in the Quran, a'udhu billah, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not majhul. We know Allah, even if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't mention himself in the Quran and he mentions this structure in the Quran, you don't say fi'l al-madi mabni al-majhul, fi'l al-madi mabni, because the fa'il is majhul. The fa'il is not majhul. The fa'il is Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Yes, so that's a side benefit just came to my mind now. I'll explain that. That's a benefit we picked up from the Sheikh last week. Very important benefit. Yes, he said, Ma yanbaghi hada. Ma yanbaghi. So anyway, that's that. Okay. Yeah, والمفعول الذي لم يسمى فاعله نائب فاعل يعني. So when an ism falls into the place of a maf'ul whose fa'il is not mentioned, and this ism is going to be marfu because it's na'ibu fa'il. والمبتدا وخبره, likewise mubtada and khabar, they are both marfu. واسم كان وأخواتها, and you know the ism of kana and the ism of the akhawat kana. We're going to look at examples, okay? They're all marfu. وخبر إن وأخواتها, and you know that the khabar of inna and the khabar of the akhawat inna are all marfu. والتابع للمرفوع, and everything which is a tabi' for the marfu'. If there's ism marfu', everything which is a tabi' for it, everything that follows it, is also going to be marfu'. And there can be four things. You know the tawabi'. Inshallah, we're going to look at them. Obviously, they're going to come later. But the tawabi' are arba'atu ashya'a. What are they? Na'at sifa, wal atfu, wal tawkidu, wal badalu. This is, so if a na'at sifa comes after an ism which is marfu, then the na'at's going to be marfu. If atf comes after an ism which is marfu, then this atf is going to be marfu. At-tawkid, if this tawkid comes after a word which is marfu, ism which is marfu, the tawkid, this is going to be marfu. Badal, if it comes after a word which is marfu, then this is going to be marfu, and it's called badal. So these four, you will find them inshallah later on, but they are called tawabi'. They are the ones that will come after an ism. Now, if the ism is marfu, then these four tawabi' will be also marfu. The na'at will be marfu, the atf will be marfu, the tawkid will be marfu, the badal will be marfu. Okay, so that's the speech of who? ibn Ājurrum. Now, let's look at what the Sharih says. وأقول, I say, قد علمت مما مضى أن الاسم المعرب يقع في ثلاثة مواقع. He said, you have learnt in what has preceded that ism al-mu'arab, ism which is mu'arab, ism not mabni, ism which is mu'arab, yaqa'u fi thalathati mawaqi'. And ism which is mu'arab can fall into one of three positions. One of three positions. موقع الرفع وموقع النصب وموقع الخفض. It can either be in a position, an ism where it is marfu', or it can be in a position in the sentence or kalam where it is ism mansub, or there can be ism makhfood majroor. Yes, ism can only be that, yes. It either can be marfu', mansub, or majroor, yani makhfood, whatever it is, yes. Naam. Okay, here I have a question for you. Might as well mention it. It's a good thing because it comes up. You will see it come. This kind of structure comes up again and again and again in books everywhere. Now, would you say here mawqi'i, or you say mawqi'a, or you say mawqi'u? What would we say here? Oops. Any ideas? No? It can be all three. It can be all three. Look here. Was the jumla? It said yaqa'u fi what? Thalathati mawaqi'. So after that we can say mawqi' raf. Yes. Why would we say that? Because we would say that mawqi' here, it is badal min thalatha. We would say the mawqi', the word mawqi' here, mawqi' raf, mawqi', it is the badal for thalatha. And remember I was saying, so mawqi' is the badal. Thalatha is al-mubdalu minhu. That's the name that they're given, yes? Mawqi' is called badal, and thalatha is called al-mubdal minhu. Okay? So, yani, it takes the place of that. It's badal. It's a replacement for it. It's a replacement for thalatha. Okay. Or you can say with the raf. Why? Here it would be that mawqi' it is khabarun mubtada'in mahdhuf. خبر لمبتدأ محذوف تقديره نعم هي موقع الرفع. And then it continues موقع الرفع موقع النصب موقع الخفض. So موقع would be مرفوع here. Why? Because here it would be the khabar for a mubtada which is mahdhuf. What is a mubtada mahdhuf? Hiya. Yani thalathati mawaqi, 3 places, 3 situations. Hiya, and they are mawqi al-raf'i wa mawqi al-nasbi wa mawqi al-khafdi. Or it can even be nasb. And here mawqi is مفعول به لفعل محذوف تقديره أعني موقع الرفع, and so on. So here if we say with mansoob موقع الرفع is allowed, but here why is it mansoob? Because موقع here is مفعول به, but it's مفعول به for a fi'l which is mahdhuf, and the taqdeer of this fi'l is أعني موقع الرفع. أعني, I mean موقع الرفع موقع النصب موقع الخفض. And أعني, this is a fi'l and fa'il. أعني, I mean, this is you have fi'l and fa'il, so موقع is a maf'ul. Okay, that's just a side benefit because this comes up again and again. Okay, but now you may ask which one is best, the best. The best, of course, always one rule you have to remember in Arabic. Always the best is the one that requires no taqdeer. So the best would be mawqi'i with a kasra because there's no taqdeer. You don't need to add anything, delete anything, put some, nothing. Here mawqi'u, there's taqdeer, that there is a mubtada which is mahdhuf, it is hiya. Here there is taqdeer that there is a fi'l which is mahdhuf and is a'ni. But here there is no, straightforward, is badal, khalas. So that is always the best option to go for in any situation in Arabic. You have to remember that if you have an option in Arabic whereby you can avoid taqdeer, then that is always the best option. Okay, so inshallah that's clear. Okay, let's continue. So we would say here, yeah, موقع الرفع وموقع النصب وموقع الخفض ولكل واحد من هذه المواقع عوامل تقتضيه. And we've done this. For each one of these mawaqi', which is raf, nasb, al-khafd, there are awamil, there are things that act upon them, taqtadihi, that necessitate them. Yani, you have an ism, something acts upon an ism, which necessitates that the ism be marfu. Or for example, a fi'l. If there is a fi'l and a fa'il, the fi'l, it requires that the ism that comes after it, the fa'il, be marfu. Or there is an amil or awamil which come before an ism and then necessitate that an ism is mansoob. Like for example, inna wa akhawatuha. And likewise, sometimes there are awamil, there are things that come before an ism that necessitate that this ism be majroor, like harful jar, for example. Okay, that's what it says. وَلِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِنْ هَذِهِ الْمَوَاقِعِ عَوَامِلُ تَقْتَدِيهِ. وَقَدْ شَرْعَ الْمُؤَلِّفُ يُبَيِّنُ لَكَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى التَّفْصِيلِ. So the muallif, he said, the muallif, the author of this book, Ibn Ajurrum, he started now talking about these things in detail. وَبَدَأَ بِذِكْرِ الْمَرْفُوعَاتِ, but he started with the marfu'at, not the majrurat, not the mansubat, not the majzumat. He said the marfu'at. Why do you start with the marfu'at? لِأَنَّهَا الْأَشْرَفُ, because marfu'at are the most noble out of all of these, out of mansub and majrur. It is the most noble. Why is it the most noble? Why is it the ashraf? Because when you analyze lugha Arabiya, when you analyze speech, when you analyze jumal, you will see that raf is the i'rab of the words that are the most important. So when you look at lugha Arabiya, you will see that the words which are the most important words, their i'rab is normally raf. And this is why raf, it is al-ashraf out of all of them. وقد ذكر أن الاسم يكون مرفوعا في 7 مواضع. And he's mentioned that ism is marfu in 7 situations. In 7 situations. And you know this are put here mawaqi'a, mawadi'a. You should know this, why this is like this. Although mawaqi'a and mawadi' they are both mudaf ilay and they're majroor. But you should know that they are majroor with a fatha, not kasra. And you should know why. Because we have done it in detail before. Who can remind us quickly why? Why is mawaqi and mawadi'? It is majroor with fatha and not majroor with kasra. Why?
لأنه ممنوع من الصرف.
نعم لأنه ممنوع من الصرف. أحسنت ما شاء الله. Yes, it is ممنوع من الصرف. And we mentioned that ممنوع من الصرف are of 2 types. There's ممنوع من الصرف for إلتين, because of 2 reasons. A word is ممنوع من الصرف because it has 2 things in it that make it ممنوع من الصرف. And there are some words, they are ممنوع من الصرف for إلا واحدة, because of only 1 reason. And مواقع and مواضع, these 2 words are ممنوع من الصرف because of إلا واحدة. What's the إلا here? Why are these 2 words ممنوع من الصرف? For إلا واحدة, because of 1 reason. What is that 1 reason?
جمع تكسير.
Not جمع تكسير, you're close, you're on the right track. Because it is in the form of صيغة منتهى الجموع. صيغة منتهى الجموع. صيغة form. Like masajid, مواقع, مواضع. Because when a word, if a word is jam', you have mufrad and jam'. like masjid, masajid. Mafatih. So when it's on this, in this form, it takes this form. It's called Sigat Muntaha al-Jumu'. Muntaha. The last, meaning that when a word, if you make it plural and it is in that form, it cannot be made plural anymore. Because that form, there is no form beyond it for jam. That's the last form. So once a word reaches that form, that's the Muntaha al-Jumu'. Anyway, that has been explained in great detail, so you should really know that. Okay, so وقد ذكر أن الاسم يكون مرفوعا في 7 مواضع. Okay, what are they? إذا كان فاعلا. If it is fa'il. If an ism is fa'il, it's going to be marfu'. Yes. ومثاله علي ومحمد في نحو قولك حضر علي وسافر محمد. And the example of this is Ali and Muhammad. In these following 2 examples, حضر علي وسافر محمد. علي, it is fa'il, so it's going to be marfu'. Muhammadun is fa'il, so it's going to be marfu'. Second, أن يكون نائبا عن الفاعل وهو الذي سماه المؤلف, and that's the one that mu'allif, what name did he give it? نائب عن الفاعل. What name did the mu'allif give it? Al-maf'ul alladhi lam yusamma fa'il. That's what the author called it. Yes, he said, instead of saying na'ib al-fa'il, he called it al-maf'ul alladhi lam yusamma fa'ilu. Nahwu al-ghusnu wal-mata'u. In qawlika quti al-ghusnu wa surika al-mata'u. Al-ghusn, branch, mata', yani belongings. Quti al-ghusnu. Quti'a al-ghusnu. So al-ghusn is na'ib al-fa'il, and this is why it is marfu'. This is why it is marfu'. So quti al-ghusnu, yes, quti al-ghusnu. So you say quti'a fi'lun madin mabniyun ala al-fath. Yes. Wa huwa mabniyun lil majhul. So quti'a fi'lun madin mabniyun ala al-fath wa huwa mabniyun lil majhul. Al-ghusnu, as you know, naibu fa'il. Yes, marfu'. Wa alamatu raf'ihi, yes, naibu fa'il. نائب الفاعل مرفوع علامة رفعه ضمة على آخره. Okay, what's the third one? Third and fourth. المبتدا والخبر both مرفوع. نحو محمد مسافر وعلي مجتهد. We don't need to do the i'rab of that because I think in the first lesson of Ājurrumiyyah we did i'rab of this. Yes. So you can see Muhammad is marfu because mubtada. Musafir is marfu because khabar. Ali is marfu because mubtada. Mujtahid is marfu because khabar. واضح. Number 5. Ismu kana or ihda akhawatiha. Ism of kana or ism of one of the akhawat kana is marfu. نحو for example إبراهيم والبرد من قولك كان إبراهيم مجتهدا وأصبح البرد شديدا. You can see Ibrahim, it is marfu'. Why? Because if it said ismu kana. You can see أصبح البرد شديدا. The bard, the cold has become extreme. Here bard, it is marfu'. Why? Because ismu asbaha. Remember, asbaha is from the akhawatu kana. Asbaha is from the akhawatu kana. So now when we look at this example, let's look at the example. Kana Ibrahim mujtahidan. Let's do one example. Okay, who would like to do the error quickly? Anybody want to do the i'rab of that kana? What's kana?
فعل ناقص مبني على الفتح.
Yes, good. So it is فعل ماض. Yes. فعل ماض ناقص. Yes. He said مبني
على الفتح.
الفتح. And what does it do? يرفع الاسم و
ينصب الخبر.
We're going to look at this in more detail later. Yes. كان إبراهيم يستاذ. كان is فعل ماض ناقص مبني على الفتح يرفع الاسم وينصب الخبر.
إبراهيم اسم كان مرفوع علامة رفعه ضمة الظاهرة على آخره.
Yes, إبراهيم اسم كان مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة ظاهرة على آخره.
مجتهدا خبر كان منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره.
نعم أحسن. مجتهدا خبر كان منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره. Easy, nice and easy Arab, yes. And the same can be said about أصبح البرد شديد, exactly the same. البرد is اسم أصبح and شديدا is خبر أصبح. Number 6. And we're going to stop here now because this is going to take some time. I don't want to rush it. I want to explain that in some detail. So the last thing we're going to do now is this one here, number 6. خبر إن أو إحدى أخواتها. Likewise, خبر of إن or خبر of one of the أخوات إن. These خبرs, they are مرفوع. نحو فاضل وقدير من قولك إن محمدا فاضل. محمدا اسم إن. فاضل خبر إن. Can you see it is مرفوع? Why? Because خبر إن. Also قدير here. وإن الله على كل شيء قدير. إن الله هي لفظ الجلالة. This is اسم إن. اسم إن. لفظ الجلالة اسم إن. And the خبر is قدير. And this is why it is مرفوع. The خبر of إن is قدير. It is مرفوع. Okay, let's do one i'rab. Let's do the easy one. إن محمدا فاضل. إن محمدا فاضل. What's إن? حرف
توكيد ونصب.
نعم. حرف توكيد ونصب مبني
على الفتح. لا محل الإعراب ينصب الاسم ويرفع الخبر.
نعم. Good. So إن حرف توكيد ونصب. Inna is there to give a tawkid, to emphasize, and it is yansib, and it is nasb, because as you can see, there it is. Nasb of the ism. Tawkid wa nasbin mabni al fathi la mahadun li i'rab. And as Ilyas said, that its job is the opposite of kana. So we mentioned ينسب الاسم ويرفع الخبر. ينسب الاسم ويرفع الخبر. طيب محمدا.
محمدا اسم إن منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره.
نعم. محمدا اسم إن منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة على آخره. فاضل.
فاضل خبر إن مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره.
يب أحسنت. فاضل. فاضل خبر إن مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة على آخره. And that's what we're talking about. خبر إن وأخواتها. طيب خلاص, we will stop here for today, and inshallah we'll continue next week بإذن الله جل وعلا at the same time. Okay. خلاص, so see you next week inshallah بإذن الله. والله تعالى أعلى وأعلم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.